While waiting for while waiting for Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good day to all. I think we can start now while waiting for Alden, because I have also several slides, maybe less than 20. Let us begin our session with kita baca yang Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum all praises be to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because of Him we can gather here in this computer lab for the training session. So our target is to get the knowledge of the thematic analysis. So the thematic analysis is under the qualitative research methodology. So that's why I organized this training under the qualitative research book series. And then specifically, the training is to give knowledge to the COP executive committees, especially, but in general, also open to other staff of UAE. So this is for analyzing open-ended survey data, because we have the survey data in the Kuala Pharmacy that need to be analyzed. So I want to give training so that other people also can get the knowledge and apply the knowledge immediately. So this training session will be divided into two parts. First part is the theoretical knowledge that I will give about like a lecture, and then after that, is the hands-on session. Hands-on session using the data that I have edited, so that is suitable for all the participants to use the data and to practice the knowledge that has been learned in the first part of the session. So you can scan the attendance from the QR code there, and then we target to end the session until 4 p.m. But anyone who have urgent matter, you can go out at any time. Okay, I think that's all for the introduction. Okay, now any question? Any question you want to ask? You can select any seat that is suitable for you, that is convenient for you. We need to have the PC because we want to make the hands-on session. The hands-on session is important to get the knowledge later, because we want to make the knowledge stick to our mind by using the hands-on session. Okay. Okay, okay, but in the first part, no need to open the PC yet. Just focus on the slides. In fact. Okay, I will change to the pointer. So firstly, we want to know regarding what is the thematic analysis. Okay, the thematic analysis, I will give the definition, the exact definition after this. But firstly, I want to give like an analogy. The thematic analysis is about to extract the theme, or in Malay tema, theme from the rich data, from the qualitative data. When we say about qualitative is about the textual data. We are not dealing with the numbers. So the analogy is that in the sky there are many stars. So we want to extract the stars. We want to extract the content of the data. That is the simple formula. Yeah. Okay. So this is the definition I give, so that we can know the knowledge data. The definition of thematic analysis is a systematic method. It is a method to break down or organizing rich data from qualitative research by taking individual observation and quotation. So our task is to make a tagging. So the rich qualitative data is like a text in the Microsoft Word or any type, maybe in Microsoft Excel as well. So we want to extract the data by tagging. So we just read maybe first sentence, and then we, in the Microsoft Word, we can also use the features of add new comment. In the Microsoft Word, we have the review tab, and then click add new comment, and then we put the comment there like a tagging, because this is nowadays we are using software. So the famous qualitative research software is the NVivo, SSP. But all the software is not the same like the quantitative research. But the research such as SPSS. SPSS is software that is essential, important for the researcher to use. If no SPSS, so it's like cannot do the works. But for the qualitative research, all the software and what SSP is not the essential one. It's like the just not not an essential. It's just if we have better, but if we don't have, we can still do the works. So instead of all the software, we can also use Microsoft Word. So this is current situation. But previously, traditional for the researcher that have no computer previously in the old times, they use typewriter. So they from the interview, they type the script. We call it transcript. So when they type, so they have the transcript, and then from the transcript they read, and then they make a tagging using colorful paper, sticky note, and then they cut down by using scissors, and then put in the folder. So the concept is we want to make a tagging to the textual data, and then we want to classify it according to specific things. So with appropriate codes. So the tagging term is code. So sometimes we also call it as coding qualitative data to facilitate the discovery of significant things. So from the code, we can obtain the things that we want. So as the name implies, as the name of the thematic analysis implies, it involves finding things. We want to find things. So what is theme? Description of a belief, practice, need, or another phenomenon that is discovered from the data. The data is the textual data. It is the transcript. So we want to extract this one is subjective. This is belief, practice, need, or another phenomenon. This is subjective according to the knowledge of the researcher, knowledge of the coder, because the researcher making codes, the work is to make to analyze it using coding analysis. So the researcher is coder. So it's depend on the coder. So qualitative study, qualitative research analysis is based on the subjective thinking of the researcher or the coder. So the data emerges when related findings appear multiple times across participants or data sources. So we have to repeatedly read the data so that we familiarize ourselves, and then we can determine what is the suitable things. So this is very dry. So after this, I will explain more. So this is diagram to summarize whatever we have learned in the previous slides. So thematic analysis begins with the qualitative data. The data is the textual data from the interview or the open-ended data survey, and then we want to code it. So the method is coding. The coding is to extract the information and make like a comment in Microsoft Word, or manually we make it as a tagging. And then from the codes, there are many codes, we will iteratively compare. So iterative means to say repeatedly compare between all the codes we obtain to produce things. So that is the summary of the previous slide. And then to make it more understandable for all the participants, I would like to give brief introduction regarding the comparison between the qualitative research versus quantitative. So the qualitative answer why question, because the question is why. The answer will have a lot of sentences. That is also called as open-ended. So oppositely, quantitative answer the question that is considered as closed-ended. So the example of question, how many, how much. So how many, how much, we have specific answer. Just the answer that has no elaboration. So regarding the data type, qualitative is related to the observation, symbol, word, and etc. But for quantitative, number and statistical result. So for the qualitative, no statistical analysis will be done. And then for the approach, qualitative, observe and interpret. You see, if interview one-to-one session, we have to observe all the reaction of the participants. So that is the ideal qualitative study. But if for the open-ended survey data, also considered as qualitative study, but it's not the ideal one. Because qualitative, the open-ended survey data can just get the answer from the participant without the participant to elaborate more, because the interpretation may become subjective. The participant may answer like this, but the interpreter, the coder will interpret different meaning. And then the opposite approach, quantitative, to measure and to test. Meaning to say, there is existing hypothesis, existing idea that we want to measure, we want to test. Such as the first question, how many, how much. So there is existing idea of the question that we want to ask. How many participants in this room, age 40 and above, 40 and below. So we have existing idea, we want to measure and test. But for the qualitative, we have the general question. We want to observe the answer and we want to interpret the answer. And then regarding the analysis, qualitative involve grouping of common data, non-statistical analysis. So grouping of common data related to the codes that is similar to each other will be merged, and we can produce teams that consist of several codes. And then quantitative statistical analysis. So example of qualitative data. So just the image qualitative, we just focus on the word L, qualitative. Because after this, if you see quantitative, if you want to focus, you may be interchange qualitative and quantitative. So qualitative with L is textual data. So this is the example of the open-ended question. Open-ended question from the survey data that we want to analyze. This is from the customer satisfaction survey for the students. So the example of question, if you are dissatisfied with the condition of college in Pulau Pharmacy, please state the locations and problems. So the characteristic of the question is open-ended and have many answers, not closed-ended. So there are many answers. We expect the answer will have a lot of text, so textual data. So that's why we have to do the thematic analysis. Okay, the example of the answer is like this. So there are many answers. The limit is the sky. That's analogy. So anything can be the answer from the participant. But for the quantitative study, the ideal quantitative study, we have to limit the participant. But this one also we limit the participant only for the students. So the inclusion and exclusion criteria is a student of COP, not the student from other Korea. So we will get the data that has boundaries. Boundaries mean to say the comment will be from the Korea student only, not from other Korea. So the next one is the example of the quantitative data. So the focus of the words, the alphabet we want to focus is the T, quantitative. Quantitative is the numbers data. So this is what is the type of the question here? Is it open-ended? Open-ended or closed-ended? So this is the closed-ended. Why closed-ended? There are many options that the participant have to select. So in comparison to the previous open-ended question, there are no options for the participant to select the answer. So the closed-ended question has more boundaries of the answer. So we will just get the answer number 1 until number 5 only. The participant cannot give more comments regarding that. So what this indicate? So this indicate that quantitative research should be supplemented with the qualitative. If we just put the quantitative type, close-ended type of question, we cannot explore more opinion from the participants. So the participant just limited to this answer only. So this is the response from the close-ended question. We can only get the answer from number 1 to number 5, and then we can just analyze how many participants answer number 5, number 4, and number 3. So there is a descriptive analysis of the quantitative data, and that is not our focus, not our target in this training. So for this training, I would like to use main reference in this slide. So I have searched, and then I have found this is a suitable article to be used for this type of training. So after this, you can also search the title and read in detail the full text article. So in the slide, I just extract the information. So from this screenshot, I would like to also highlight regarding the importance of this article. Many researchers, many scholars have used this article based on the cited by. You can see that one. Cited by, how many? Cited by 4,402. Mean to say more than 4,000 articles have used this article in their writing. They cite. So mean to say this article is very significant. So that's why I choose this one. So in the article, I just take some of the information. This is just like a recap from previous slides. I also introduced to you the definition of thematic analysis. We can see many definitions, but the content, the idea is almost the same. To identify patterns or themes within qualitative data, where data that is rich. So among the most cited reference as well regarding thematic analysis is the Brown and Clark 2006. Even though like outdated 2006, now 2023, but still significant. So many qualitative researchers still cite this article. Suggests that is the first qualitative method that should be learned. So when we want to learn qualitative research method, we can learn from this article. So the qualitative research methodology is not only for science-based science students or researchers, but also for the social science researcher. In fact, internationally also, social science is using a lot of qualitative research methodology. So I want to highlight here, not only lecturers, but also staff from pharmacy will also have can get the benefits by learning the qualitative research. A further advantage, particularly for the perspective of learning and teaching, is that it is a method rather than a methodology. Meaning to say, unlike many qualitative methodologies, it's not tied to a particular the terms there because that is very advanced. Just to summarize, the thematic analysis is in general for all the qualitative researchers. But in advance, there are many more specific methodologies such as epistemological or theoretical perspective. This makes it a very flexible method, a considerable advantage given the diversity of work in learning and teaching. So we move to the practical part, doing the analysis. So according to the reference that I had cited before, Brown and Clark 2006, said there are 6-phase guide, useful framework for conducting this kind of analysis, this method analysis. So the first step is to become familiar with the data. The description, the elaboration will be given after this slide. So we just see at a glance first the steps. The second step is to generate initial codes. The third step, search for themes. So after we familiarize the data, we extract the information to make several codes. And then from the codes, we find from the codes to produce themes. And then step 4, review the themes, and then define themes, and lastly, write up. So this is the elaboration. I think this one you will you can read more. I will give the slide after this. But I want to highlight regarding the content inside the article, the elaboration from the article, because the article have been cited by more than 4,000 researchers. First step is to become familiar with the data. It's involved reading and rereading the transcripts. When we deal with the textual data of qualitative research, we have to read many times. We have to read the transcript and then to familiar ourselves with the data so that we can make codes and themes more effectively. The interview extract that form example can be found in this one because the article has provided the appendix 1 to show the example. You should be very familiar with your antibody of data corpus. So this one is the example of the data. No need to read. So the second one, to generate initial codes. After we read and read many times the data, we can produce the codes. In this case, we start to organize our data in a meaningful and systematic way. Coding reduces lots of data into small chunks of meaning. So meaning to say, in the textual data of the qualitative research study, there are many texts. So we want to reduce the text by extract the codes. The codes is our perspective regarding the sentence. Such the sentence is a lot of words. So we just reduce to several words to make codes. There are different ways to code, and the method will be determined by your perspective and research question. So there is dependent to the perspective of the researcher. So that's why we have to involve more than one researcher, more than one coder. Mean to say, maybe one transcript have to be coded by 2 researchers, two coder. First coder we do it independently and read many times and then produce the codes. And then the second researcher also will do the codes and then compare the codes and then discuss if contradict to each other. So the consensus, we produce only one code. Okay, we were concerned with addressing question and analyze data with this in mind. So this was a deliberate rather than an inductive one. So there are several types of code, inductive coding, but you would like to use the last one, the second last row. We use open coding. So open coding means we don't have the preset codes. So we have no list of codes, but it depends on our reading repeatedly. We develop the codes, but develop it and modify the code as we work through the coding process. And to say when we read, and then from our perspective, the code is that one, not from the list of codes, because there are another types. Researcher already listed the possible codes from the data. Okay, the step number 3, search for themes. As defined earlier, a theme is a pattern that captures something significant or interesting about the data or research question. There are no hard and fast rules about what makes a theme. So this is also subjective dependent on the researcher or the coder. The coder will read again repeatedly all the codes obtained, and then we try to simplify more. Maybe the codes have 3 to 4 words, and then we read again, and then maybe the codes number 1 and the code number 2 almost the same. So we merge, and then we make it a theme, a same category of themes with the codes. A team is characterized by its significance. If you have a very small data, such as a short focus group, they may considerably overlap between the coding stage and the stage of delivering primary things. Meaning to say, if the data is very small, such as the open index survey data that we want to use as the sample for the health conversation, this is very small data. Maybe it will just have the things, no codes. Because the codes maybe produced from a lot of textual data, and then from the codes we will summarize into themes. But if only small set of data, we may have only directly to the themes. So this is the example of themes and codes. Let's say we are using Microsoft Word, we add new comment at the right column of the page. And then we copy the code and then paste into a new table like this. Such as the codes there help to learn what you are doing wrong. So there is the codes. Meaning to say, maybe the sentence has more words. So the codes might also be done by using only copy and paste the words from the sentence. Copy several words, such as help to learn what you are doing wrong. Maybe the original sentence has a lot more words. So they just use this method, just copy and paste several significant words and then put in the table. And then all the codes are under the same category. So they make it under the same column, under the theme, the purpose of feedback. The purpose of feedback is the themes. The themes that is perspective from the coders. The coder understand all the codes. The codes is under the same category of the purpose of feedback. And then this is the second themes, second category. The second category is related to lecturers. So all the codes is related to the lecturers. The third themes, reason for using feedback. And then the codes is like this. Until now, question.
It can be the other way around. If you have experience, you can set the theme first, and then you can take out the codes that you might think would fall under the particular theme.
Yes.
For those who are familiar with the quantitative method. But let's say you are not familiar and do not have that's why you are the expert in a particular research. So meaning that it can be done the other way around, or it can be by putting codes like this, but without having any theme yet, and how actually we're going to
get the theme.
Get the theme. It can be like this. I can see that the research is very well with the context and ideas. So maybe she or he already have a theme and can put the codes inside that particular theme, but those who are not familiar. So meaning that there will be a step where we extract the codes and then we try to analyze what things are possible. Then we put into the teams and they might be generating another teams later and then replace back the codes into another teams.
Actually, in this example, is using that types of method, open coding. They copy and paste the code first, and then they read the codes. And then they type the theme on top of that. Not they are typing the theme first and then put the codes.
Basically, they have the idea to put the codes under which particular theme and can decide later what the theme is going to be.
Yes, they have the idea because they are familiarized with the data and they are the content expert. They are the researcher in that field. So that's why they can read repeatedly and then understand the data is related to what category, what themes. So they decided the themes suitable is like that. This one also maybe more than one researcher put different themes, but after that they have to discuss to get only one themes.
And one put other themes.
Yes, okay. There are many codes. Sorry again, one code into two teams.
Those are the same codes. Yeah. Right?
Open grade.
It will be great, and then
To improve grade.
So can we put one or more things?
Yes. One course can be under more than one teams. And then at the end, we want to put in the write-up in the report all the teams. We also will put the table like this. The table like this, and also discussion, maybe in the abstract, summarize is the teams that we obtain.
Again, is it a must for one code to be put under consensus team that decided later, or can be in 2 or 3 teams if that possible?
Can be more than one team.
Can be
Like this. So maybe some of the participants cannot see clearly. This is the improving rate. And then another team, this one, to improve rate. So almost the same codes can be under different teams. Very flexible. So very subjective. Any other question? Two teams are the same. Okay, two questions. The first thing, the purpose of feedback. The third thing, reasons for using feedback or not. Okay. Okay, this is actually still under the step number 3. Step number 3. They are not revising yet. So because after this, step number 4, 5, there is a steps that they will revise again the teams. Okay. So we may want to see, I would say, this is one reviewing teams. They review the teams. I think we directly go to the table. This one. This is the table of the revised or review teams. First thing, academic context. Second, use of feedback. Third, emotional response to feedback. What's the one from feedback? So, better teams. Okay. So maybe we want to see the elaboration first. Step number 4. They modify and develop the primitives that they identify in step 3. Do they make sense? At this point, is useful to gather together all the data that is relevant to each teams. You can easily do this using the cut and paste function in any word processing package by taking access to your transcript or using something like Microsoft Excel. Again, access to the data analysis software can make this process much quicker and easier, but it's not essential. So if we use FLSP or NVivo, maybe C plus text, but not essential. So the data with each team is color coded. Meaning to say they have to review again the teams. Among the questions to be asked among themselves to review, do the things make sense? Does the data support the teams? Am I trying to fit too much into a team? If teams overlap, are they really separate teams? Are they teams with teams, sub-teams? So if there are a lot of textual data, maybe they have also sub-teams. There are other teams within the data. We see again the review teams. So all under the teams are the codes. If we read slowly after this article, we may find there is no overlapping more. So the second last step is to define the teams. The final refinement of the teams and the aim is to identify the essence of what each team is about. What is the team saying? If there are sub-teams, how do they interact and relate to the teams? And one from feedback is an overarching team that is rooted in the other teams. So there are diagram of the thematic map, but there is not very important for this type of training. Lastly, writing up. Writing up is for the researcher to produce the article. So usually the endpoint is some kind of report of the urgent article or dissertation. So maybe in this training, no need to make the write up. So that's all for now. Open for any other questions. Is it more understandable or more confused? No. Ah,
Because I realized that some point the way that they define the things seem to be so generic that it is they get a lot of rich data, but the way that they put it into things, I think like physical, biological, physiological, psychological, it's like it's like you don't even have to make this qualitative survey if you want to, because so different. Everyone it's in the theory already. So you're making sense of the thing and trying to find words that actually describe how, isn't it?
Yes. Maybe that information you found from the journal article, right? So it's also the same with other type of research study. In the journal article, it's not if we find in the published article, sometimes it may not be correct. For other studies such as systematic review or cohort study or retrospective or randomized trial, may also report incorrectly. So that's why we have the critical appraisal. When we read journal article, we have to critically appraise. Then when we critically appraise the article, we may find the article have less quality that is should like the should like the ideal one. Okay. So maybe the journal article is the low quality one because not all the qualitative research article have the quality that is according to what should have, what should the journal article have, should have. Okay. Okay, the main want to leave. Anyone also have urgent matter can leave.
That the theme must be specific.
Also subjective according to the researcher. Ideally should be specific because if too general also maybe like not make sense.
Can I give example?
Hmm.
Because I'm very new
Hmm.
to qualitative. So if I can pick off an example of subteam. So ibadah, then we divide the team into solat, fasting, zakat, and then subteam for solat is solat fardu and solat sunnah. Like that.
Almost like that. We have the general category first, and then specific category, and more specific category. Okay. Any other questions? If no, so now I will proceed with the practical session. Now 3:45. We will have almost 45 minutes. So I will show you how to get the file. Now you can open respective PC, respective computer, and do the steps together. So I will show you how to get